Dun, 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 dun. What? It was perfect. That's how it starts, right?
I'm so sorry. Go ahead. That's great.
Okay. Just a fucking bitch. Dun. Fuck you! Wait. Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of Beauty and the Bitch. My name is Mick.
And I'm Morgan.
And I was supposed to sing the Harry Potter song at the beginning, but Morgan made me feel so self-conscious.
I'm so sorry.
I couldn't continue.
I really love when we try to be musically inclined, and I'm so sorry for censoring you. Please go ahead if you would like to sing.
Dun, 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 dun.
I like when like the like really cheerful like flutes come in and they're like dee-dee-dee-dee. That was a terrible flute impression, but you know the
that
type
sounded like a kazoo.
About. Well,
yeah. You know what? I love the music from Harry Potter.
It's so beautiful.
In general, it's stunning.
It is,
and especially that theme, that main theme, is like so iconic to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is why I did it really. I did it justice.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
It was great. I loved it. Thank you.
So today, my friends, we are talking about the third book in the Holy series, in the Harry Potter book series. We're talking about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yes, and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is a different podcast episode for another day. See under podcast category pornos. But today we're talking about
It's coming.
Azkaban, which is one of my favorite books from the series. Mm-hmm. How do you feel?
It is not one of my favorites, but it's not one of my least favorites.
Yeah.
It's a solid middling book for me, but I know I've heard so many people say it's their favorite, though.
You know, for me, what the reason is because it introduces Lupin and Sirius, and for me, it's weird because it took 3 books for them to be introduced, but I can't imagine the series without them, especially Sirius is so integral to Harry's journey. And spoiler alert, he's not around for that long.
Not at all. 3 books.
Yeah. So, but his memory, it lingers, and his legacy.
You know, it is crazy. I did not realize, or maybe I knew and then forgot, but I did not connect Gary Oldman to Sirius.
He looks crazy.
So different.
He looks crazy.
And maybe I did know and it just like slipped my mind, but when I was doing the research for this episode and I saw that, I was blown away because I love him.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead?
Yeah.
He's so sexy in that. I want to have
you know
sex
what
with every inch of his body.
You know he's not sexy in, though? Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
No, Sirius is not. When he was younger, I'm sure he was very handsome.
He's supposed to be, like, gaunt and a little scary, but also with, like, underlying, like, youth and sexiness. Because he's not supposed to be that old. I mean, like, late 40s, early 50s.
How long was he in Azkaban, though?
I mean, a while. But, like, even in, like, the next couple movies, even though he's, like, on the run, he's supposed to, like, beef back up and get some normalness. I don't know. For me, the casting was a big problem.
Really?
Because Lupin also was supposed to be, like, a little bit haggard, but kind of attractive. And, like, JK, our girl Jo, she would never use the word sexy to describe, like, any of these people.
But we would.
But bitch knows Lupin was supposed to be, like, a little bit sexy. Like,
yeah.
he was supposed to be that professor that, like, you have feelings about, but not the way with Gilderoy Lockhart and that, like, sophisticated adult man.
Kind of like
I
always thought of him as like a masculine, naughty librarian type.
Yeah, like sense. He wears a cardigan, but like when he unbuttons his like starch white shirt, he's got like at least a 4-pack probably. I mean, he is a werewolf.
And just like a little bit of body hair. Not like, out of control, just like a little bit that peeks through. Yeah, I thought Lupin I was like into him in the books.
Yeah, me too.
But in the movies, never. Not
yeah, no.
No shade to that actor.
In fact, their attractive casting for like much of the adult cast, especially like going forward, like they didn't really do it. They nailed people that we were not supposed to find attractive, like Professor McGonagall, Molly Weasley. Like they nailed casting those characters. Yeah. But when they cast Tonks, do you remember that girl they cast? And like she's great. No shade to her. She's great. She's in Game of Thrones. Do you watch that?
I remember, yeah.
She's that lady that carries Rakan around. She was like Rakan's person, whatever her name was. She's not as beautiful as and charming as Tonks is supposed to be. And Tonks and Lupin are supposed to be this adorable couple that I'm obsessed with.
Well, now I know you're a fan of the actress who plays Ginny Weasley, too.
I am a Bonnie Wright fan. I'm not so much a fan of her as Jenny, no
like
shade, but as a person, I love her.
Because I remember, now she has grown up to be a beautiful, fine-looking person, but I do distinctly remember around the third or fourth movie, I was very like,
who this bitch?
Jenny is supposed to get really hot, and no, I'm not even trying to be cruel, but I was like, ooh, I don't know if this
She's a little homely.
Yeah.
She's a very homely girl.
And she's supposed to get, like, stunning. Later in the series, I mean, when Harry really falls for her, it's like, it's because well, I guess you could make an argument it's because he loves her that she becomes beautiful, but I also kind of think she also becomes beautiful because the other boys go crazy for her too.
You're not fat because I hate you. I hate you because you're fat.
That's true, actually. That's true, and it's really hurtful. And I just wanted to say, Morgie, I give you a little affirmation. Speaking of Sirius, like, not holding up that well while in prison, you have been trapped in the prison of this body your entire life, and somehow you've held up at least as well as he did.
You're such a Dementor right now.
What?
You little float nut.
No.
Energy draining.
No.
Cunty little hoe.
Okay, so why's the gay man gotta have a gaping round mouth? What are you trying to say? You're homophobic, and I was never at that glory hole, and I didn't eat that man!
I feel like, first of all, that's way too much information what you just shared. But second of all, I would never say that Dementors are gay, but they do look awfully lonely.
Not all gay men are lonely, Morgan. Just me.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman is not lonely. He's married to a woman.
Yes, he is. And he has children. And he's a professor at Bard College. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. Also, he's all over Facebook. He does too much.
Yeah, he's a busy guy. He also just started an audiobook, channel, in which he's narrating all of his own audiobooks.
He also is raising money for charity. If he can raise, $500,000 through this one charity, he's going to read a dramatic reading of the Cheesecake Factory menu, which I think is hilarious and stupid. And if I had extra money, which I don't, to donate, that's a totally worthy cause.
Oh, yeah. Well, and on top of all that stuff, which I am going to be checking out his cheesecake readings.
Right.
when and if that happens, he's also here with us today. Everyone! Welcome, Neil Gaiman.
Oh, Neil, he's just gonna go to the bathroom.
What? Okay.
Oh, he'll be back.
We'll see you a little bit, Neil.
Oh, okay. Oh, we gotta run. He's got some errands to run. Oh,
you know
man.
what? You're probably used to people taking one good look at you and running away, but for me, that was really upsetting. He's my favorite author.
You'll get used to it, girl.
So Morgie, I know you want to try this new thing for this episode.
Indeed.
I'm a little nervous about it. I'm going to let you explain it because I feel like it's your baby.
So we have previously plugged on a previous Harry Potter episode a podcast that we both love, which is called Harry Potter and the Sacred Text, which is a podcast where they take individual chapters of Harry Potter and they break it down as if it was holy text to be devoured and deciphered. And it's really interesting, and we totally recommend you listen to it. They do this really cool thing for every chapter where they do a 30-second recap, and I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of the episodes, and we thought it would be fun if we could humbly borrow that idea, and we would like to do a 2-minute recap of the entire book.
But we are going to switch it up a little bit, at least for this episode, because I am frankly afraid and unsure that I can do it by myself.
It's daunting.
And Morgie is much better at this type of thing than me, so we're going to do it as a team, at least this episode.
Yes.
And we're going to see if we can do it in 2 minutes.
And if we can't, we are going to change the ending for Harry Potter Forever.
Exactly. Exactly. And we're also going to cut ourselves.
Yeah, we have emotions.
No.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and just dive into our 2-minute recap? Mickey, do you want to start or me start?
No
press.
I can start. I can start. Okay.
Ready? And go.
Okay, so it's Harry Potter's third summer, and Aunt Marge is at the house. He hates Aunt Marge. She's horrible. And bad things happen. He makes her floats away because she insults his family. And then Dobby arrives, and Dobby is trying to get Harry Potter not to go back to Hogwarts, but he really wants to go back, and he already can't go to Hogsmeade because he made Aunt Marge float away. And then Dobby cracks like a whip and knocks the violet pudding all over the kitchen for this really important business dinner. And so Harry is in deep shit. Go, Morgan.
Yes, and Harry hates Dobby. He doesn't understand. And then Uncle Vernon's like, I'm going to kill you. And Harry's like, I'm going to get expelled. Who cares about you killing me? What's going on? I'm going to run away. He packs all his stuff, goes to the curb. What? There's a big dog? What's that? Anyways, here's the night bus. What's that? Stan Shunpike? Oh, I guess we'll go to Diagon Alley. I don't know. Here's some money. Goes to Diagon Alley. Lies, says he's Neville Longbottom. Gets to Diagon Alley. Cornelius Fudge is there. Oh shit, I'm going to get expelled. What? You're not mad? That's
Don't be
cool.
afraid for your life.
Meanwhile, Sirius Black is on the run, and I guess he's really a magical person, but also the Muggles give a shit about it, so that's interesting.
Oh, girl, 1 minute. We gotta go.
Summer, they go back to school. Harry
Can't go to Hogsmeade. He's so sad.
he's so sad. They're playing Quidditch. What? The
Marauders
Dementors.
map.
Oh, they meet the Dementors on the train.
Dementors on the train.
We
Yeah,
meet
that was
Professor
scary.
Lupin.
Also Professor
He's scared.
Lupin.
And then
Chocolate.
and then chocolate. And then whatever, through a series of events, he loses his broom. He gets eaten by the Whomping Willow because of Dementors. Then he gets a secret fireball for Christmas. And Hermione's like, oh, you can't have that. And he's like, fuck you. And she gives to McGonagall. And then he's sad. And then he rides a shitty broom. And then he takes lessons with Lupin. And then they find a Mordor's map. And then he goes to Hogsmeade. And then he learns Sirius.
29 seconds.
Godfather. And then he's like, what? And then he goes on an adventure. And
Oh, shit. And about that time, Ron gets... Is it time for Ron to get pulled under the Whomping Willow?
man, okay, go ahead.
Okay, Ron gets pulled under the Whomping Willow after Buckbeak gets executed because Hagrid's a professor now, and Buckbeak attacked Malfoy, and that was awesome. And then they run under the Whomping Willow.
And Scabbers the Rat isn't real, and then Sirius is gonna die, but then Sirius doesn't die.
And they go back in time! They go back in time!
The end? Okay. So they
That was really hard.
So, as you can see, 2 minutes was not enough time for us, but that's kind of the general gist.
Yeah, I'm sure you followed all of that. And you know, we're gonna be fucked the next time we do this, because this is the last of the short books, you realize.
Girl.
We're so fucked.
Well,
we
just too much information in the beginning. We'll do better next time.
But now you all know what happens in the book.
Okay, so, yeah, so that's what happens in the book. And what kind of ratings did the book get? What do people think about it? So on Goodreads, the book got 4.52%, which is pretty good. Over 4.5% with over 2 million ratings. Right? On Goodreads. That's a lot. And, just to let you know, there were 6,586 one-star reviews. So we're just gonna do a general fuck all those people.
Fuck those people. I hate those people.
Those people are dicks. Mm-hmm. On Rotten Tomatoes, the movie got a surprising, to me, 91%.
Really? Is that one of the higher of the ratings for the movies?
You know, I didn't do a comparison, but I feel like it is. Yeah, for sure. That's pretty high for...
I guess it is a pretty tight movie. I mean, a lot does happen, and there's a bunch of fun plot stuff that happens with, like, time travel, so, like,
yeah,
I could see that.
And who was the director? I can't remember, because didn't Alfonso Cuarón direct one of these movies? And he's like a legit director. Or Christopher Columbus did some too. So it might have been an effect of like who made the movie.
Oh, I'm pretty sure this one was directed by Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh! And ladies and gentlemen, she's here! Whoopi
Goldberg! Yes! Oh, she has to use the bathroom too?
Okay, girl, we'll see you later.
Damn!
Well, people, it's a long journey.
Yeah, they're tired. They want some Cracker Barrel. I get it.
Okay, and just for reference, the production budget for this film was $130 million, and the box office worldwide income was $796 million, $688,549. So quite a bit of money. About 200 million less than the first and the last movies, though. So, I mean, that's a considerable difference, but still completely respectable. So, the book was first published July 8th, 1999 in the UK, and then just a little bit later that year, they're getting tighter on the release dates. It came out September 8th, 1999. So, just a couple months. And then the movie came out 5 years later, June 4th, 2004. So, that's where all the facts and figures stand. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. I'm excited by the time we get to the 7th book to maybe go back and look and be like, this one had the least time between book and movie, and this one made the most money, and like, that's gonna be fun. You can make an Excel document.
Oh, girl,
I know
I'm gonna
you
make
love
a
that
fucking
shit.
chart.
Oh, she's spreadsheeting.
Chart.
Spreadsheeting.
I love it. That sounds bad, though. Okay, so today we thought we would approach our chat about Harry Potter with just some discussion questions. And let me tell you, we got intensely out of hand with our discussion questions, so we're going to keep it as tight as possible.
Yep. We've decided for the first time ever to put a strict time limit on what we're doing. And we started off really well because we did that 2-minute time limit. And we aced that.
Nailed
so
it.
the rest of the podcast is just going to be gravy.
Okay, so we'll see you next time.
Bye, babies.
Bye.
Psycho. Well, can I ask you a question right off the top, Morgie?
Yeah.
Because this has like been burning in my heart. We may have talked about it before.
Take some Tums.
It's gonorrhea in my throat, actually.
Oh,
That's the problem. Yeah, Tums
Take
ain't
some
gonna do nothing,
penicillin.
girl. Yeah. Stop sucking that weird dick. Expecto Patronum, right? This is where we are introduced to this spell in the third book, right? Mm-hmm. What would yours be?
I'm so glad you asked because that I can cross that off my list of things.
Yes, I knew we were both gonna... Okay, so
Yes.
what do you think, though? What do you think?
I literally thought a lot about it because, I was reading through this book. I reread it recently and I did it mostly at nighttime. And so I had really vivid, like, kind of magical dreams, which is like a benefit of rereading Harry Potter.
Oh,
Like lots of
I misunderstood.
adventure dreams.
I was thinking maybe you were rereading some other book, and I thought hopefully it was The Joy of Sex, but I guess
maybe
not.
next time.
Yeah.
But I did think a lot about what would my Patronus be because it's really hard, especially if you have the option to pick what would you want to be because you have all these factors. Should it be fierce? Should it be cute? Should it be really representative? Should it be like how you want to envision yourself? Anyways, girls, I settled with a baby sloth.
I love that. Is it going to move as slowly as a real sloth?
No, I think it's
Okay,
going to be fast because it's ghost-like, but I feel like a baby sloth is always smiling, and he's always chilling, and I want to be both those things.
Yeah.
And totally adorable.
And he has lots of hair on his biceps, and that's something else y'all have in common.
And he has really long, beautiful nails to get manicures. So, yeah, I don't know. I struggle with that. I like a baby sloth, though, so I'm going with that.
I'm really glad you didn't say, like, a unicorn, because I cannot tell you how many times I've heard people answer this with, like, I'm pretty sure mine would be a unicorn, because it's my favorite animal. And I'm like, girl, not everybody can have a unicorn.
Yeah, everybody not special, but I do love unicorns and
I do love
and
unicorn,
they're
too.
great.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not coming for unicorns.
So is your Patronus a unicorn?
And that being said, no, I think actually my Patronus would be a hedgehog. Like a largest
I
hedgehog.
could hang out with my baby sloth.
They could be Toad's friends, yeah. And I think he would roll into a little ball, and that's how he would run people off. He'd go...
Yeah. Man, our little Patronus, they're gonna get high together.
They would be so cute
They're gonna
together.
hang out.
They're gonna be biffers.
They're gonna take a nap. They're gonna go to dinner. They love to eat.
And when they fight, mine will win.
Well, we'll see.
Please.
We'll
A baby sloth versus
see.
a hedgehog of doom.
Is it like Sonic the Hedgehog?
Well, yes, except not blue. Because
Well,
I'm not
that's
down for that.
ridiculous. Okay, well, I want to jump in with some really hard-pressed questions as well.
Okay.
Why the fuck does Hermione buy a cat and not an owl? Why would Hermione not buy an owl? The one person who most wants to stay connected with the wizarding world, who goes home to live with a muggle-ass family,
She literally takes the paper every morning, too. Like, she gets a paper every morning.
buys a cat.
That made no sense. That made no sense.
Okay, second, two-part question. Who the fuck changed that litter box and feed that cat? Where she keep that litter box in a castle,
Now that's
up in a
question.
tower.
Yeah, how do the other girls in her year feel about a sudden litter box?
Right? And then, like, yeah, she's just like, I have a cat. She didn't ask her roommates. And she has, like, straight up roommates. Like, they share a room with, like, 6 boys or something. Like, at least in Harry's, it's, like, 4 boys. It's, like, him and Ron, Neville, Dean, and Seamus. That's, like, what, 5 people. So...
But she's got, are the sisters the...
Well, the Patil sisters are in separate houses.
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah, so she's got one of them, though.
Yeah.
'Cause
And then
one's a
probably,
Gryffindor.
like, Lavender Brown.
Lavender Brown.
And then they don't really talk about the other girls.
I guess there aren't. Yeah. I'm sure if we went through, we could find maybe a couple more.
Yeah, but she probably has, like, at least equal number, like 3 or 4 roommates.
Yeah. And she just decides she's got, and not just any cat, but Crookshanks, who is a problematic cat.
Now, is he though?
Yes, he is.
I'm on Team Crookshanks.
Oh, really?
We'll talk about Crookshanks in a little bit. Right now, let's talk about House Elves changing that litter box, and how is she going to feel about that, like in the next book when she finds out.
Maybe that's why she's so passionate about it, because she let them clean up all of Crookshanks' many messes.
Oh, she's still going to let them?
Thinking
you think
about
Hermione's going to, like, take her litter box, scoop her,
she'd do that with
walk
magic.
down to the track?
Girl, no, she'd do that with magic. She'd say, hockety pockety poo.
There's this, I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with that, but there's a really great meme where, like, Seamus says, like, hickety-bickety dumb, turn this water into rum, and Harry's like, what are you doing, Seamus? And the meme is like, the fuck you think he's doing, Harry?
It's a stupid question. Yeah. I don't know if I'd invite Harry Potter to a party, because I feel like Harry is always like, something really big and catastrophic is happening, and I'm just being brave through it.
Him and Professor Trelawney, like two fucking peas in a pod. Like people
They
you
really
would
are.
not, you would like talk about a dinner, like a fun thing in their presence, and they'd be like, oh, what's going on? And you'd immediately be like, it's a family thing.
You know what? I bet someone has written /fiction in which Professor Trelawney and Harry have a torrid teacher-student sexual relationship.
Oh, man.
Because I could actually see that.
It'd be similar to the one I wrote of myself and Professor Lupin.
Uh-oh. Is that real life?
No.
Oh, okay.
You know, like in my mind.
I mean, yeah.
My mind /fiction.
Every night for about, what did you say, 10 to 15 minutes? Is about what it takes.
Every night.
Yeah. No, but actually, speaking of Crookshanks, so I don't mind Crookshanks. You know, I love cats, but I feel like Crookshanks is a thread that never gets resolved, like a loose thread in the series.
Well, and they always continue to mention Crookshanks throughout the series, but like, not really. Like at some point, I think we quit talking about Crookshanks, and then in the final book altogether, Hermione goes on a trip. What happens to their pets? Well, Hagrid's dead.
Well, we'll get to there. In book 7?
Yes.
Yeah, girl.
But what? So like, she doesn't even mention Crookshanks at all? Like just leaving her cat of like 5 years behind?
Which is why I don't know now. I haven't researched this particularly, but I wonder if at one point Rowling wasn't like, okay, we're gonna like do something with this cat. And then she was like, you know what? Everybody else is already a damn animal. I'm just gonna let Crookshanks be Crookshanks.
Okay. So one thing that she may have been planning to do with him is a really prevalent fan theory.
Is this Regulus?
Yeah, do you want to talk about this?
Yes, you
So I did just like a smidge of research, but basically the idea is that Crookshanks was an animagus.
I think so.
Yeah.
Animagus?
Yeah, sure. Animagus. And he was the human Regulus Black, who we later learned through seeing Black genealogy charts at the Black home, was Sirius's brother who died kind of mysteriously, maybe wrapped up in the dark arts. It's kind of ambiguous what happened to him.
I think it had something to do with a tube of toothpaste and a really large container of real mayonnaise.
Been there. So he goes missing. He's dead. Whatever. He's gone. So what happened to him? We don't know. And we just make assumptions. But the idea is that Crookshanks is him because, as we learned, Sirius is an animagus, and that means that there are any number of unregistered animagus. Because, if fucking 3 high school students can teach themselves this intensely crazy transfiguration to become animals, and Hermione at some point in this book says there are only 8 registered animagus in the world. And that just means registered with the government. And then
so like McGonagall's one of them.
She's one of them. Yeah, she said she went to a book to look up McGonagall, and she was like, so you guys can't be animagus because you weren't in that book. And Lupin was like, haha, little did the government know there were 3 unregistered. Well, girl, if there's 3, there are a million. So perhaps Regulus was Crookshanks, which would explain how quickly and easily he got along with Sirius when he was a dog, how they could communicate so easily, how he could carry out tasks. Like, Sirius would give him instructions and he would go and, like, retrieve passwords. Like, basic-ass cats, even in the magical world, I don't think can do these things. There's no standard for it.
Well, besides McGonagall as a cat, Crookshanks is the only cat
Yeah.
We also have Miss Norris. Yeah. And she's pretty connected, too, to Filch. And Quip, she's very connected. And that is like, I mean, right, that's like, a trope is that like witches have the
cat
cats.
is a witch is familiar. Yeah. So there's maybe. That. So maybe. But okay, so here's a little bit about the theory. So it's all in the name. Firstly, we know that the Black family named their children after constellations, right? So Sirius is part of the Canis Major constellation, which is the dog star. And it just so happens that his animagus is a dog. Well, Regulus is also the name of a star in the constellation Leo, which is a cat constellation. So, I mean, there's that. And then there's also his relationship and his, like, kind of truth searing. Because even before he knew Sirius, he knew something wasn't right with Scabbers. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, he knew. So, anyways, no matter how you look at it, whether you like that fan theory or not, there's something with Crookshanks.
Yeah. That is one thing I wouldn't mind, because I know that JK's doing a lot of fun stuff with, like, side stories these days. And I would love... I just feel like there's more there. I just feel like it got edited out or cut out, or she decided just not to go for it, because she gave Crookshanks so many notable moments and, like, weird, like, red flags and red herrings.
And maybe she'll air it on, like, Pottermore, like, as a special bonus or something later. You know, sometimes she's like, here's notes on this, or, like, this chapter that I cut out, or this death that I changed, or something. So.
Little known fact, there was a character named Mick Parker who was incredibly good looking, and he was an American exchange student, and he actually is the one who helped Harry win in the last battle against Voldemort, but she cut him out at the last minute. And when she texted me, I was very gracious about it.
Okay.
That's all real life. None of that's a lie. I don't know why you're looking at me like that. I always tell the truth.
Okay. Well, obviously that's all true. But you did bring up a good point.
Shocker.
Exchange students. Is that a thing in the wizarding world?
The reason...
And why wouldn't it be?
You know, I actually really, really hoped that they would bring in an American in the 7th book as, like, an exchange to it, maybe an evil exchange to it, because before the books, or before the movies came out, because I was like, you know what? I would love to be in the Harry Potter series, but I can't do an English accent. So literally my only hope in the world is that they bring in an American character and somehow I get cast.
Yeah. Also, I think that JK was really against, like, casting American people.
Which I actually like and believe is totally legit.
Yeah. No, I'm for sure on board with that. And also I'm against Benedict Cumberbatch doing an American accent like he did in Doctor Strange. It's unnatural and unattractive.
I just watched Doctor Strange, though, and I want to talk to you about that.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
I loved it.
But don't you hate him as an American accent?
Yeah.
Couldn't they have just made him British? Like, there's no reason. They change shit all the time, but that's for another time.
Well, but Morgie, so if you were an animagus, what would your animal be?
I would be a unicorn.
Oh, this bitch.
Wow. I actually have not thought about this. I can promise you one thing, though, that I would not be a rat. And also, how much do you get to decide?
Well, that's the thing.
Because you think Pettigrew would decide to be a rat, or he just happened to have the mannerisms and kind of favor that meek sort of, like, follower, like, scuttly sort of kid?
To me, I feel like the animal you turn into when you become an animagus, I feel like that is like your spirit animal. I feel like you become the animal, but I feel like Expecto Patronum is more connected to, like, I don't know, like, family history, and, like, it's connected to that happy memory, and, like,
man,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe I fucked it up, because my spirit animal, the one time I did, like, a spirit voyage,
it was a hedgehog.
It was actually a hedgehog. So maybe that would be what I would turn into, which I like much less, because I like to be something more useful, but that's okay.
I have no idea what I would be. I would be like a land-based mammal, and I would live in a forest.
You could be some kind of, like, northern wildcat. I could see you as, like, a bobcat or, like, a cougar. You could be a cougar.
I will be in 20 years.
You look like a cougar. Well, I wasn't even trying to be shady, but you do have crow's feet, though.
Oh, wait, what? Why does I gotta have crow's feet?
Crow's feet, not gross feet. You've got crow's feet and gross feet.
I do have crow's feet because I smile so much.
Me too.
Thank you for bringing it up.
I love it.
Okay, so maybe like a cougar.
I could see you as a cougar.
I feel like I could I feel like it's something else, though. Like, I also wouldn't be opposed to being like one of the wolves that live in Yellowstone, because they're like pack animals, and you know how much I value my tribe and how much I depend upon that. So I do think I would be some kind of pack animal, which of course all those like cats are as well. So I don't know, but I've narrowed it down to like a land mammal that lives in packs in some sort of forest.
That's good.
So, something within that.
Packs of rabid dogs.
Yes, are taking over. What would you be?
I have no idea, but I know I wouldn't be in the water. I think I would also be land-based. I think I would be some kind of smallish animal
that can burrow away.
Like some kind of like maybe like a badger type animal or something connected to a hedgehog. That's the kind of animal I am. That's just who I am. A fox. I could definitely be a fox.
Oh, I love foxes.
Fox is my new spirit animal now that I'm a grown man.
Okay, girl. Okay, let's talk about... Oh, I had one more question about the cat stuff.
Yeah.
Why can they only get cats? Why can't they get dogs?
That is a really good question.
And the only thing I could think of is because, like, dogs have to go outside to use the bathroom so much, and if they live, like, in a basement or in a tower, like, it would make that difficult. But also, if they're not cleaning the litter box, why can't the house elves, like, take your dog out?
Yeah, exactly. And I think you're just ignoring magic in this whole situation, because you should. They have Fluffy.
You think
Fluffy's in that third corridor.
Yeah.
Where'd all his shit go? They magic that shit away.
And Hagrid has a dog.
Yeah, Fang.
Fang, yeah. Who is such a sweet big boy.
I wonder, because, like, when Harry gets Hedwig in book 1, that's in the same, there's like, that's at the Owlery, right? But you can also get toads, you can get cats. Isn't there some, rats, toads, cats, and these are all, like, familiar animals.
Yeah.
And maybe dogs are just less, like, in legend considered to be familiars. Though they are some. I don't know.
So that bothered me. And maybe,
weird.
like, Jo is just like a cat person.
Yeah. Maybe so.
Or
maybe she's like, we already have a dog, we need a cat.
Yeah, maybe.
It could be as simple as that.
Second part to that second part question. Why the fuck would you get a toad?
Yeah, well, only Neville. I mean, really.
Why?
Yeah, it's completely useless. Maybe you're supposed to, like, prick the back of your toad and take the toad pus out and use it in potions and stuff.
Yeah, maybe he has, like, maybe he's like a special toad. I don't know.
Maybe he sticks it up his butt.
Fucking shade. Like rats, I can get on board with people like rats.
And they're
toads
smart.
Are just dumb.
And you can, like, give them messages and stuff. Yeah, but toads don't do anything. Yeah,
Nothing.
I don't get it. Maybe you get one of those special toads you can lick the back and have a trip.
Oh, girl, I hope so.
Yes!
Okay, let's talk about Hermione's time turner situation.
Yes, because I have a lot of problems.
Okay, so at the beginning of the year, Hermione gets this time turner from McGonagall to secretly take a course overload. Is that ethical? Like, even if she wants to do it, she shouldn't be allowed to. She's just a little girl.
It's also, I get that she is a brilliant student and you don't want to, like, you know,
stifle her
fire. Yeah, but, like, she hates divination anyway. Does she? Why?
Waste of time.
McGonagall should have been like, girl, don't take divination.
Right, and McGonagall thinks it's a bunch of shit too.
Yeah,
and they're like
McGonagall's like her biffer, so like, why? And also, even beyond the fact of, okay, she's taking a double course load, let's talk about the fact that they are giving, how old is she here? 13?
Yeah.
12, 13. They're giving this young girl a tool with which she could destroy the universe.
Yeah. And also seemingly like most of the administration does not know about it or like something. I don't know. Everybody's not in the know. So
I call shade.
Shade. It's secret information. It's highly detrimental if used incorrectly. It stresses her out. She's not getting enough sleep deprivation. I mean, just a number of things that could go wrong here.
So that, you know, they do talk more about the time turner. Isn't it in, what's the play?
Yes, it's in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Yeah. The time turner becomes, like, the weapon that it is, really, in that. So I'm glad that she returns to it.
Yeah, it's a little
sort of,
vindication.
Like, fleshes it out a bit more. And maybe we could chalk it down to the whole children's book to adult novels, like, storyline that we've talked about in past episodes, which, like, it starts off with kids' book logic, and then slowly over time becomes more and more realistic. Like, that makes sense, because this is, like, kids' book logic right here. honestly.
Yeah, so...
Would you want one, though?
No, girl.
Oh, see, I would want one. I would totally want one,
for school or for other purposes?
Both. So I could, like, read more and, I want more time.
I know I would fuck it up. Like, that's my reason I don't want one is I know I would fuck it up and then I would have to fix it and that just causes me unnecessary anxiety.
And you'd be Barry in the Flash. Get your dick out the timeline, Barry.
Oh!
You heard me.
Girl.
You ain't putting that back. That's broken. Well, okay, can I ask you another question?
Yes.
It's connected to Professor Trelawney. So, I know that in the Harry Potter world, we've got two kind of schools of divination. One, which is like the ridiculous one, which you might think like Professor Trelawney is like the figurehead that we know that's part of that. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we have the centaurs who are all about the skies and they do that kind of... So, is there any form of divination that you actually do believe in or perhaps even do practice in some small way in your life? Do you believe in divination?
Yeah. I mean, the centaurs are really attuned with astrology. They are like they're very like by the stars and they live by like the waning of the moon and like living in sync with nature and like that sort of stuff. And that's my whole life, girl. Like I do that all day, every day. And I imagine that they would feel like really like intrinsic with the earth and that like all things in nature are precious and like gemstones are a gift from the gods and like whatever, all that shit that I love to think about. I would love to know more about things that Professor Trelawney would be on board with though. Like not so much like crystal ball stuff because that's a little... It's hard for me to get on board with crystal ball, but I really, really love like tarot cards.
And like I like the tea readings.
I like the tea leaves. I don't know enough about that to like really form an opinion, but stuff like that I am interested in. And like, girl, you can sway me to sit down and talk about that. And I would definitely take a class on it. Like divination, Professor Trelawney, she sucks, but divination as a class in general,
very
could be my major. Like, even if I didn't have the gift of being a seer, I could still study it intensely, for sure.
Me too. I love the rune. Do you remember back when we did, what was the Nil game at Stardust? And you had the guy with his little magic dice. He throws his little runes is what he was reading. Like, I love that idea. And I do something similar with like gemstones where I like assign meanings to them and then throw them onto this board and then depending on where they fall.
You make gemstone grids.
I do.
I make gemstone grids and like you can like change the energy of your space with like gemstone grids. And I'm a big fan of that. And of course, different gemstones are good for different purposes. I gave you for Christmas some Celestine, which is a gemstone associated with writers. It's good for writers.
That's why I'm famous right now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bae.
And so I'm all about that divination.
Well, but I do my own little thing though, where it's like I ask it's like a tarot card reading, but with gemstones, essentially.
Can we do that sometime?
I would love to. Yeah. I haven't pulled them out in a while, but for a while I was throwing it and doing a reading every day. And there's a thing called geomancy, which is like similar in some ways, but the more I researched it, the more I was like, okay, this is a completely different thing. So, yeah, we should have a night sometime. I would definitely take that class though. 100%.
Okay. So let's take a little break for a second and talk about classes in general. So I just have to be real with you. I don't understand the Harry Potter class schedule. Like, what are core classes? Why are they just now taking divination? Is that extracurricular? What's happening? What's their life track? How is this playing out?
And why isn't there a marching band?
Indeed, Mick. Okay, so I did a little research and I thought that I'll just quiz you a little bit on kind of some of the things that I learned.
Ooh, okay, I'm excited.
So a thing that I learned is there are 7 core subjects at Hogwarts, and you take them both your first and second year. Can you name these 7 subjects?
Ooh, how fun is this? You know I love this kind of shit. Okay, let's see. Transfiguration, Charms, History of Magic, Defense Against the Dark Arts, Potions, Herbology, Magical Creatures? No, that's in the 3rd year. I don't know. I've only got 6. What am I missing?
Astronomy.
Astronomy, because they go to the tower at midnight.
They do.
Shiza.
Okay, so astronomy, charms, defense against the dark arts, herbology, history of magic, potions, transfiguration, and for first years only, they have kind of like a plebe class where they learn flying lessons.
Oh, of course, flying.
Yeah. So it's not a core subject, but they do take that their first year.
That's cute. That's like, at college, didn't you do something when you went to Hendrix? It was like,
Yeah.
Odyssey or something. It was called
we had
Odyssey program.
Yeah.
It's like Welcome to College.
And they did a questionnaire about like what we do with our lives in our spare time and how we're enjoying our first semester of college. And one of the questions was how much alcohol did we drink?
Ha!
And I was the only honest person because my teacher asked me to stay after class the next time and said that she thought I had an alcohol problem. And I was like, all these people in here have 4 times as much as I had to drink over the previous week, and they just did not tell you about it. So that's when I started to not trust adults. Wah, wah, wah. Because I'm supposed to be anonymous, that old fugly bitch.
I know, right? And you were on the verge of becoming an adult, so that's probably why you're such a shattered person today.
Well, anyway. Okay, moving on to year 3. So they take their 7 core subjects, or no, they take whatever subjects they're going to continue on. I think it's like, they can like continue however many of their core subjects, or like, maybe all of them. I don't know. Okay. And then they can add some electives 3rd year and up, okay? And so this is why I think Hermione took divination, because I think Harry and Ron added it as an elective, and she was just like, oh, class with my friends. Okay,
friends.
So here's all of the electives that are available. This kind of blew my mind.
Oh, I'm so excited.
You can take alchemy, but only for your 6th and 7th year, and only if the demand is sufficient. So it's available upon demand.
I see. Makes sense.
And then I tried to Google, like, who would teach that class at Hogwarts, and I got no answer.
Probably Snape.
Well, I came up with Dumbledore. I thought that if it's a class on demand, Dumbledore would probably teach it.
And he's good friends with Nicholas
Flamel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's what I came up with. For 6th and 7th years, for those of age who are 17 and older, they can take apparition lessons as a class.
Love it. Okay.
You can take arithmancy, which Hermione did.
And she's crazy for that.
Hella boring. You can take care of magical creatures. You can take divination. You can take muggle studies, and you can take study of ancient ruins. And Hermione was like, sign me up for all of them. Because she's crazy.
That's so much. I had no idea there was so much. Okay, so
there's more.
There's more?
In addition in addition to those electives, there are also extracurricular subjects, which are like club type things that you can join. Okay, so they are ancient studies, which is just what it sounds like, art, frog choir, which I guess maybe that's why you would have a frog, if that was like a extracurricular thing.
Okay.
Ghoul studies, like Ghoul. Magical theory, which I can't believe Hermione's not in that club or whatever. Muggle art, which is just like art, but like Muggle shit. Music, Muggle music, orchestra, and xylomancy, which is divination type stuff, but with twigs. Like twig-based divination practices. And that is all of the things you can do with your time at Hogwarts School.
Unless you want to make up a new club, right? Like Dumbledore's Army, and then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, or spew.
Or spew, yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have to ask you the inevitable question, Morgie.
What would I take?
Well, what would you take? First of all, what classes do you think you'd be good at in the first 7?
The core subjects?
The first 6, I should say.
I would be good at astronomy, because I'd be really committed to making
And you've taken astronomy, haven't you?
Yes, girl, but I did not do good then.
Wow.
Because they were like 5 a.m. stargazing, and I was a freshman in college. Could not do it.
Well, we already talked about how you had that alcohol problem, you old
well,
rummy.
I had I was normal drunk.
Sure.
I was normal drunk.
Sure.
Normal horny, normal drunk, just like a normal person. And I stand by that.
Yes, you might even say muggle level.
No.
No. You didn't see that one coming.
Okay. I think I'd be good at defense against the dark arts. I think I'd be good at herbology, because you know I'm good with plants. And I think I'd be good at transfiguration.
I agree. I think we've talked about how I think flying would be easy. I know that's not. I think we'd all be good at flying.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I'd be committed to learning anyway.
I'd be good at history of magic.
Yes, you would.
Thank you. I think dark arts too. I do think dark arts. And I would not be good at astronomy or charms. Or herbology, or potions. So I would have to hope to be good at...
You'd be good at everything I wouldn't be good at, so we could let each other copy off of our homework.
That's true. We will definitely do that.
Dream team.
Yes, except for potions, in which I think we might be fucked.
Both of us would both suck.
Yeah.
Well, Snape would hate us anyway, so we would, fail either way.
Yeah, completely. What about the others? What are your, top 3 that you would take out of all those other beautiful classes?
I'm really interested in alchemy, especially if Dumbledore is teaching it. And if Dumbledore's teaching any class, it's at the top of my list.
That's the class I want. Yes.
I think I'd be good at care of magical creatures.
You would be great at that.
And I'd probably take divination. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 I think I would take.
I would think, I think I would have a natural knack for divination as well, so we'd be in that class together, which is good because we don't have too many other classes in common after a second year. And you know what? I would totally take art, and I would either take study of ancient runes or ancient studies. Yeah. Well, I know one's extracurricular, but I mean...
You'd still do it, yeah.
Yeah, I would maybe do both if I could, but yeah, ancient stuff, I love that. Yeah. It's interesting, the idea of taking Muggle studies. For the same reason that Hermione's interested, the different viewpoint. I probably wouldn't, because I think I'd be very happy to escape from the world of Muggles.
And also there's all these other cool classes. If you're going to be Hermione, you're going to be an overachiever and take every class, sure. But if you're going to narrow it down to 2 or 3 choices, no.
Yeah, not that one. Yeah, it's not worth it. Too much work for what you'd get out of it.
Agreed.
God, that's fascinating, Morgan.
I know. Blew my mind, girl. Okay. This is kind of taking it back one step, but I did just want to mention that Snape, as per usual, was being a dick.
Huh?
And everything. But also in that class in the beginning, when Neville made a bad potion and then Snape was going to feed it to Trevor and kill him?
Is that the one where Neville melts his cauldron? No, that's at the very beginning.
No, yeah, he just makes a bad potion and then Snape's at the end of this class, we're going to feed that potion to your frog to see if it's good. And then Hermione spends the rest of class whispering under her breath instructions for him to fix it. Because he's going to just fucking kill his frog.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Snape spends... Every bit of Snape being in this book, he spends being just a heinous asshole. And it culminates at the end when you learn about this horrible trick that stupid Sirius played on him when they were young, where he was haha, you should go under the Whomping Willow. Which, first of all, mean thing.
Yeah.
Really.
Horrible.
Yeah, Sirius was horrible.
Possibly fatal. Speaking
yes, he could have died.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sirius was a dick. But then Snape, holds this grudge over so hard that he hates Harry. I find that to be completely excessive.
Especially because Harry has overcome so much difficulty in his life, and he's really, to be perfectly frank, he seems more like Snape's childhood than James and Sirius's childhood. So it's funny because you would think that Snape would see him, and not only the Lily sort of connection, but also just seeing this poor abused child.
You would think.
You would think that he would want to help him. But yeah, it's easy to forget because of how Snape's character does blossom at the end of the series. It's easy to forget that he is still quite villainous throughout. He might not be an actual evil person, but he's not a nice person either. He's really not.
Who do you think... Who are any of these characters having sex with? All these professors. What are they doing in their spare time?
Good question.
Snape was in love with Lily. Alright, she's dead. What, did he just spend the rest of his life?
Pining.
Pining for a dead person?
Well, that's what Dumbledore did for Grindelwald.
What about Lupin? Oh, well, he gets with Tonks.
He gets with Tonks, so we know he gets some, yeah.
Sirius was in prison, so he gets a pass.
Mm-hmm.
Pettigrew was a rat, so he gets a pass. He was fucking other rats, probably.
We never get to hear of McGonagall when she was younger. She doesn't have a family.
She was
she's
a
feisty
spinster. Disco roller. Oh man, she got it when she was young.
Fucked her way through London.
Oh, I know
east to west,
she
baby.
did. I know she did.
What about old little guy who has to stand on books? Charms. Flitwick. Who's fucking Flitwick?
Probably everybody. There's some freaky ass witches.
They be doing some spit roasting with Flitwick.
Oh, I bet they do.
They just spin him.
I always think it's interesting to think about that too, and then especially the thing where Dumbledore was revealed to be gay later. Mm-hmm. And I was telling you about this podcast called Nancy, that talks about gay culture, and it's two biffers, and it's really good. And they did an episode called There Are No Gay Wizards. And it was all about a gay man's non-acceptance of J.K. Rowling's revelation that Dumbledore was gay. And basically, and I want to know where you stand on this, because basically his feelings were that she goes through all this effort building these characters up, maybe subtly letting you know through, that maybe they're gay, and then later, much later, after she's cashed her checks, coming out and saying, that person's gay. But it's almost like this big revelation of like, no homo, like I'm not gonna say it.
Well, okay, I have to say, so I appreciate the fact that she has said that Dumbledore is gay. I agree with this author that it is an add-on after. I don't believe, maybe in her heart she always saw Dumbledore as gay, or maybe she just saw him as asexual and said to herself, or just didn't think about it because he's an old, that's just not the part of his life that he's in when we see him in the Harry Potter books. Because
and frankly,
really
it's a very non-sexual book. Like they don't like a couple of kisses is kind of the most intimate that it gets ever with anyone.
With old Ron and Lavender Brown. That's the most graphic sexual content we get. And it's like snogging left to right. Yeah.
Yes.
But the thing is, I appreciate that she did it, but I do think it is true that like there's no. It's similar to the way that there's no religion really in Harry Potter. There also aren't queer people because there isn't really sex. So it doesn't bother me. I think this guy should not attack JK because she is an ally, and I think a lot of liberal people and minorities spend a lot of their time pulling down allies who aren't 100% perfect instead of attacking the actual enemies in our world. So I think he's wrong-headed, but I do think he has a point. I agree with him.
Definitely. Yeah. I always think, like, I wonder if there's like a sliver of possibility that like somehow like Snape and Dumbledore like had some sort of like alliance because it's just thinking about it all sounds so lonely for everyone. I just want people to be less lonely. Like, I think a lot about, like, how lonely is Professor McGonagall? Like, what does she do after class? Like, who are her friends?
No. Well, she's friends with Dumbledore, first of all. Yeah. And she seems to be close to, the...
Madame Rosemary.
Yes! Yeah. She's friends with her. I think, McGonagall, though, I think is the kind of person who, like, I don't think she is lonely, because she knows a ton of people, and she likes to focus on, like, her work, and on, like, making sure that her witch hat is just so on top of her hair. You know, like, she's like that lady. Like, she's living. She's living.
Thank you for consoling me.
Of course. Well, I try. It's hard when the future is so bleak for someone, but I really do try to help you pick up that enormous head.
Okay.
And just keep trudging forward on those flat, gross feet. Just keep trudging.
Gross feet. Gross feet.
Speaking of... so ridiculous. Speaking of gross feet, can I talk to you about Aunt Marge for just a second?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, do you know the name of the actress who plays Aunt Marge?
Oh, God, no.
Okay, I didn't either. Her name is Pam Ferris. She also played a very similar character in a movie that was very important to my childhood and probably to yours. She plays Miss Trunchbull. Isn't
gasp of
amazing?
Shock.
I know.
Fucking does.
Yes, she's Miss Trunchbull. And like Aunt Marge and Miss Trunchbull are like...
they're like the same
character. Okay, so I'm going to read a little blurb and you tell me if Aunt Marge said it or if Miss Trunchbull said it.
Okay.
Okay, good luck. You're a liar and a scoundrel, and your father's a liar and a cheat. Am I wrong? I'm never wrong.
Miss Trunchbull.
Yes! Good job, baby. Because he sells her that lemon car, and she gets real upset, and she throws Matilda in the pokey.
The chokey.
The chokey. Yeah, the pokey is what we call prison, right?
Pokey, chokey, like hokey? Sex stuff, right?
Oh, is that called the pokey?
I don't know, girl. The hokey pokey? Wow. That's kind of a sex song.
Anyway.
If you ask me.
Ooh. To catch a predator. Okay. Next. I won't have this namby-pamby, wishy-washy nonsense about not hitting people who deserve it. A good thrashing is what's needed in 99 cases out of 100.
And Marge.
You got it. Yeah. You got it. Okay, one more. I'm big and you're small. I'm right and you're wrong, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Miss Trunchbull.
Yes!
That old hateful bitch.
Isn't she? She's the worst. I do like to say that to people a lot, though.
Yeah, I do too. It's
Not
good.
in
It's good
seriousness, but yeah. Isn't it crazy, though, how similar those two characters are?
It is. And actually, you like legit blew my mind when you said that's like your gift is like blowing my mind with like teensy facts.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
I have 4 really important questions I need to ask you.
Okay.
Number 1. How are all of these students so sure about their greatest fear? And I'm talking about when they are facing the boggart, and Lupin just nonchalantly says, it'll turn into your greatest fear. And everyone's like, okay, got it. What? Like, they just got it? They just know? Like, do you know what your greatest fear is? I have no idea. And just thinking about it, I have like so many things running to my head, and I just, what?
Well, I think it's hard for you because your greatest fear has become your reality.
Oh, well.
Oh, I'm getting you.
At least I'm not scared of like a fucking mummy, like some
That's true.
stupid ass lavender brown.
It's a lavender
shit.
brown. I know what mine would be. I'll tell you.
You do?
It would be a shark. It would be a shark swimming through the water swimming through the air, coming at my face. It's like Sharknado, but not ridiculous. That's
Like-
my greatest fear.
Ridiculous. Would it be weird? What would it be like that I don't know? And it would be so interesting to meet the boggart and to be faced with my greatest fear and then like have a moment of understanding.
Yeah.
It would reveal so much about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And like Hermione's greatest fear was Professor McGonagall telling her she failed all of her exams.
Just ridiculous.
So like maybe mine would be something like not that, but like something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And like maybe I will have built this question up in my head.
Do you think that she knew that before she got up there, though? I don't think that Ron knew what his was going to be.
He knew it was going to be spiders.
Oh, he knew it was going to be a spider? Okay.
Because he's like deathly scared of spiders. But
Harry didn't know. He didn't know it was
he
going to
knew
be
it was going to be the Dementors.
Oh, he knew?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
okay.
knew. They all knew.
They all knew.
They all knew.
Yeah, I mean...
And fucking Neville knew his was going to be Snape. Like, he was the first one to go. Lupin was like, what's your greatest fear? And he was like, Professor Snape. Like, he just knew.
That is
like,
crazy.
Neville's not scared of people performing the Cruciatus curse on him like they
right?
did for
like
his
they
parents.
did on his parents, yeah. Or like
mean-
being stuck up in a mental institution his entire life.
I think that falls under kid book logic.
Yeah.
Like you were saying.
Yeah.
Because as an adult, there's no way. A group of adults would not be able to just sit down and be like, yes, this is my greatest fear. Let us face it right now.
Yeah.
No.
Because there are so many things to fear. Unless you have, like, what's it called when you fear something so much it's irrational? It starts with a P.
Patronus.
A parrot. No. It's called a phobia, Morgie. It's called a phobia. That's what I was trying to say. But you were close with paraffin and wax. You were
I was
like,
really
you were tiptoeing on the edge.
Okay. Next big question. The Moroder's map. Cool or frightening?
If I own it, cool. If I lose it, frightening.
Exactly. And like, how did the Weasley twins figure it out?
That's a really good question because they get it
not
out
the
of
brightest.
Filch's office, right?
Yeah. Do you think maybe it gave them a hint because it could tell that they were up to no good?
I think maybe it saw some troublemakers and was like, I'm going to give them a peek. And like maybe show them the
That would make
instructions for 10
sense.
seconds or something. I could see that.
Which brings me to the third part of this question. How did some old students, Lupin and his friends, create this entirely powerful thing?
Yes.
This relic that nobody else has anything similar to it.
Kid
like,
book logic.
yeah.
Book logic. Because that is incredible magic. Because you know how many protections and like, all kinds of things are on Hogwarts. To have was essentially like a big brother surveillance system that not only can track everyone in Hogwarts,
Also Hogsmeade.
and also not anyone who comes in is suddenly labeled and can be tracked.
Yeah, and apparently
Like-
there's no magic that can conceal you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's more powerful than the invisibility cloak, which is one of the Deathly Hallows. Like, I don't get it.
So yeah, kid book logic.
Kid book logic.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're true.
Yeah.
Which brings me to one of my next important questions / statements. They left the Shrieking Shack and roamed the grounds and Hogsmeade as a werewolf and animals during the last 2 years. That's what Lupin said. Lupin said that that's how they made the Moroder's map, that they knew the castle, the grounds, and Hogsmeade better than any other people. That is horrifying. Any
Yes.
number of people could have been bitten by him as a werewolf.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see Yeah, I don't understand how they thought that was ethically sound. Maybe not. Well, especially like Lupin. Like, I feel like Lupin would be like, girl, we can't, because he's the responsible one.
He did say that it's a thing that still gives him nightmares, like that he feels bad about it. But no. Like, if his whole life was ruined and changed by the fact that he was bit by a werewolf, how could he ethically roam around freely? And,
Exactly.
And second part,
Ooh, get that finger wagging.
Dumbledore set up this whole fucking shrieking track so that he could go in there and transform safely. They didn't have anyone policing that?
No.
Oversight.
No.
Total oversight.
Sometimes I feel like Didor just trusts. It's happening. I feel like Didor just trusts to the, like, essential goodness of the universe.
Yeah, I don't know, girl. I got a lot of problems with that. But I do have one more really important good question.
Okay.
Would you visit a friend in prison who was imprisoned for murdering another one of your friends? Because Lupin never even went to see Sirius, never heard Sirius out, just believed the story at face value and waited 13 years to get this resolution at the end of this book.
You know, this is one of those questions. I think it's a fabulous question, and I hadn't really thought about that. I think this is one of those things I would never know until it happens, which hopefully that will never happen. But I think I would visit a friend. Well, at least once, if I didn't get to talk to them before they went to prison, because I want to hear their side of the story, because I don't trust the Justice Department. So, or the justice system, or either, really. So yeah, I would, and honestly, I might even, depending on which friend it was, I might even continue to visit them, depending on how the murder happened. I mean, I believe in mercy, not in justice. I'm a mercy person, not a justice person, so.
Yeah, I think I would have to visit them. And of course, Azkaban is different than, like, regular prison, so maybe, I mean, people are allowed to visit, like, we see throughout other instances people, like, having visitors, but I just find it entirely crazy that Lupin lost all three of his best friends essentially in the same, like, day. Mm-hmm. And only one of them was still alive that he could even go visit, and he didn't even bother to, like, go do that.
Maybe that's indicative of how crushing it was. Maybe he just had
I'm sure it was very crushing.
Maybe he just had to just, like, disengage altogether.
If your two best friends died and you thought your other best friend was responsible for both of those deaths. I mean, if Sarah were to kill me and Amy, this would be very difficult for you. Or if she was to, like, supposedly be responsible for her death, because of course she was framed.
I mean, well, if you say it just depends. It really just depends. Like, did I see her kill y'all?
Sure. That might change things.
Or, like, did the policeman tell me? Because fuck the police.
Fuck the police. No justice, no peace.
Yes. What about you, though, Morgie? I mean, what do you think? You would definitely do it.
I'm a curious person, and I have that mercy in my heart, too, that I would at least need to hear it from their mouth and determine my own feelings.
Maybe throw you $5 so you can buy some Fritos.
Oh, yes, girl. Yeah, it would be hard, though. It would be really hard.
Well, speaking of mercy, let's talk about some things that have no mercy.
Yes.
Okay? So, I noticed, and I am far from the first person, but I noticed that Dementors share something, so I have something in similar with the Ring Wraiths from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yes.
And also are quite similar to the Myrddraal, or also called Fades, from the Wheel of Time.
Mm-hmm. I prefer Fades.
I like Fades, too.
Yeah.
Now, you haven't read the Wheel of Time, though, right, Morgie?
I have read some of the books, but not all of them.
Really? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. I thought you hadn't read them. Okay, so good. So this will be easier for you than I thought, maybe, because I was like, well, she's going to have to just know two and then guess on one.
Yeah.
So, kind of like we did with Aunt Marge versus Miss Trunchbull, I'm just going to read descriptions. I'm going to read 3 descriptions, and you tell me which is which. Is it a Dementor, a Fade, or a Ring Wraith? Okay. Number 1. These creatures have black cloaks that do not move in the wind, the ability to disappear into shadows, blood acidic enough to etch steel, and they do not have eyes.
Fades.
Okay, it's a good guess. Let's see. Let's read another one.
Oh, wait.
But that's good. I like the way you're doing it, though. I like
Wait, what do I have to do? You're reading 3 things, and one of them is...
If you can guess right after, I think that's great. And then we'll lock it at the end if you're like, yeah, I was definitely right.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I think it's perfect.
I hear you. So I have more choices.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Pale, wispy figures, clothed in black robes, wearing crowns, armed with steel swords, and the ability to exude fear.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's ring wraiths.
Okay, I think it could be a good guess. And then this is a gliding wraith-like creature that feeds on happiness and produces depression. They can consume your soul, and they also do not have eyes.
I'm sticking with Fates, Wraiths, Dementors.
You got it, Queen. You got it.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Man, but they are like... Yeah.
They're similar.
The stuff of nightmares.
Well, they are, absolutely. But that's like, wasn't it it was the first Harry Potter book? We had that second opinion where that person was like, these Dementors are just ring wraiths. They're the same thing. Do you remember reading that asshole's opinion?
Yeah, they were like, everything is the same. Dumbledore is Gandalf.
Yeah, exactly. Merry and Pippin or Ron and twins or whatever. It was just stupid. It was horrible. Yeah. But it did make me think, like, they do all look very similar.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, Dementors, they're creatures. They are creatures. They're not men, right? They're like monsters. In The Wheel of Time, the Fades are actually related to Trollocs. They're like, which are like the orcs of Wheel of Time, essentially. They're the half animal, half man, like muscle. And for every 100 Trollocs that were made by the Forsaken in the Wheel of Time, 5 of them came out as Fades. And they didn't really know why, right? But they're like half, they're like a weird thing. Half man, half animal, with like 10% extra they shouldn't have that we can't explain. And then ring wraiths, of course, were once men, but they've just become ring wraiths over time because of the rings. So they really are very different things. And they all have very different abilities. They just tend to look kind of similar.
Yeah.
And they're bad guys,
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Like the connection and crossover. Yeah.
And I like it too. When I see a new, like, glidey black robe figure, I'm like, ooh, I wonder if they're going to be referencing this, or this. Yeah. Or like, what did they read? Or like, I like that. Exactly. I just think it's people who aren't well read who get confused.
Idiots.
Fools.
The dum-dums.
Dum-dums! Awesome. So, Morgie, do you have any other discussion questions before we take our next journey?
I ain't got nothing.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you the wheel. Morgan, take the wheel. Where are we going to go now, Morgan? Where's the podcast going? I'm so confused.
We're going to go to the game corner. Gonna play some games, got some games, and insert song here. Okay, so we have pulled together just a couple of games, some of our uses, and a brand new game that Mickey has made up for us. So why don't we kick it off with you with some Two Truths and a Lie.
Ooh, okay. I love going first because I'm a white man. Okay. Did you come up with a funny Two Truths and a Lie title this month? Because I didn't do anything. We call it, no, I have nothing. Two Truths and a Lie. The first recorded mention of the hippogriff is by Virgil, the Roman poet, in his Eclogues, which came out around 39 BCE. First recorded mention, hippogriff. Okay. Option number 2. Because the hippogriff's parents, the griffin and the mare, are mortal enemies, hippogriffs in some cultures are considered to be a symbol of love. Because they shouldn't get together, but they do, and they have a hippogriff. Okay? Last option. The English royal coat of arms contains a lion, a hippogriff, and a dragon.
Oh, shit.
2 are true. 1's a lie.
I think the third one is a lie.
Oh, yeah? Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
It's totally true. You got it. Good job. Oh, wait, it's totally... You're correct.
Yeah.
It is false. It's a lie.
That would be epic, though. That's a flag I can fly at my house.
You know what, girl? The coat of arms does have a lion and a unicorn in chains. It's awesome.
I think the, national animal of, Scotland or Ireland is the unicorn.
It's Scotland. Yeah, it's the unicorn. And they put chains on it because they're supposed to be too dangerous when they're when they're free. So they chained it. Yeah.
Love it.
So cool.
Nice. Okay.
Good
Whew.
guess,
Got me
Marie.
going
That
for a
was
minute.
killer.
Okay. I also have one. The Durmstrang School has dark arts as a core subject, not defense against the dark arts, learning the dark arts.
Sounds possible.
The Sexy Professor is a popular blog written by Anonymous in the voice of Professor McGonagall.
I hope that's true.
Wizrocklopedia is a wiki-type website that celebrates and promotes wizard rock bands such as the Hinky Punks.
You know what? I bet that last one is definitely true. I'm not incredibly interested in that, but I know that people who love music would be into that. I'm going to guess that the second one is a lie, but I hope
Sexy
it's
Professor?
true. Yeah.
It's false.
Oh, gosh.
But since I invented the Sexy Professor
You should
as a
do
blog
that.
written
Yeah.
in the voice of McGonagall, maybe I'll do
Yeah.
it.
Copyright. Morgan Messick.
I
2017.
also think that's a hilarious
I think that's,
blog.
such a
and
good
really
idea.
solves my issues with McGonagall being lonely. And what does she do in her spare time? She writes the Sexy Professor
Would
blog.
it be kind of like Sex in the City, but McGonagall at Hogwarts?
Yes, exactly.
That's so fabulous.
Yeah.
Morgan, you should do that.
Isn't that funny?
Yes.
Yeah.
I really like that
I like
idea.
it. Okay, we really crushed Two Truths and a Lie.
I mean, we do what we can, and what we can is really good.
We're awesome. Do you have some Mary Fuck Kills for us to do?
I do. So I've got 3, and they get more ridiculous as we go along. Okay. So the first one I think is difficult because all these men are in some way fuckable. Okay.
Okay.
So Mary Fuck Kill. Sirius. Lupin.
I knew this was happening.
Snape.
Okay, well, I'm gonna kill Snape.
What? But he loves Lily. It's
Fuck
so
him.
sweet. Okay. Fair enough.
He's dead. I'm going to fuck Sirius because I have to marry Remus Lupin because he's my sweetheart.
Because you love him.
I do. I love him. I really do.
And I imagine that after, how long was he? He was in jail for 13 years? 12 or 13 years? Serious, right?
Yeah.
Because he went in, when Harry was an infant child.
Yeah, 13 years, yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine that he has a lot of semen stored up that he could really just jackhammer into
I don't know if I have anywhere to put it, but we'll just see.
I know, right? You need to bring a Tupperware. Yeah.
Girl. Gross. Gross.
Okay, that was gross. I blame you. Okay. Marry, fuck, kill. Peter Pettigrew. In his man form. It's way better. Uncle Vernon. Aunt Marge. You have to go there, girl.
Okay.
The rent is due. You need to go out and make that coin.
Okay, I have to, and I have Peter Pettigrew, gross. Uncle Vernon, gross. Aunt Marge, double gross. Oh, I'm definitely not going down on Aunt Marge. She's dead. She's so dead. I'm killing her. That's not happening.
Valid.
I'm going to... God, it's so terrible. No matter what way I do it. And I feel like... Oh, God, I'm going to have to buy a strap-on for both of these.
Yeah, I think you will, yeah.
Okay.
You could help Uncle Vernon find his dick. I bet he hasn't seen it in solid 15 years.
Well, it's weird too, because it's Peter Pettigrew doesn't have any money, so even if I'm married to him, I can't ruthlessly go on shopping sprees. So I'm gonna have to fuck him
Ugh.
and marry Vernon Dursley and send him away on lots of business trips. Lots of business trips where I have sex with my really attractive Indian neighbor Kumail.
Yes.
So-
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm living for your fantasy.
Yeah.
You do realize, though, that fucking Peter Pettigrew means you're going to get fleas in your pubic hair.
damn it.
That's
Well-
definitely going to happen.
Yeah, probably was serious too, so.
That's probably true, too.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you did a really good job on
Thank
both
you.
of those. Now, this one's a little ridiculous.
Okay. Please tell me there's a hippogriff.
It is. Buckbeak. Aragog.
Oh,
Giant spider.
Okay, yeah.
Or one of those ugly mermen that live in the lake.
Okay, I'm Oh, okay. Ooh, it's all bad all around. I think I'm gonna have to kill Aragog, though, because same argument when we talk about fucking Shelob. Just not gonna do it.
Yeah,
can't do it.
And I am still arguing that 8 legs equals unlimited pleasure, but that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it is like a lot of tentacles to work with.
That's
but
true.
I don't want any of them inside me, once again. So, she dead, and then I'm going to fuck Buckbeak.
That's interesting. I really didn't think you were going to take it that way. Okay.
And I'm going to marry the merman.
Okay.
But we're going to have one of those relationships where we have to live separately because obviously I can't breathe underwater and I don't have the magical capability to do that indefinitely. So only like sometimes I'll like maybe eat gillyweed and we'll like hang out for the weekend or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise I'm Frida Kahlo style, living in my own house by my own rules.
Yes. By the way, your unibrow looks really thick and
God
rich
damn
today.
it!
What? I was complimenting
Plus, I
it.
trimmed it this morning, so I know you joking.
No, I am just joking. For the record, I would totally marry Buckbeak and fuck the merman.
Okay.
I don't know why, but because Buckbeak can fly me around.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you take on lots of vacations.
We have like platonic marriage type.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be cute.
Okay. Well, I have culled for you one of my favorite games. Which one?
Which one?
Which one?
Which one?
Which one?
Which one?
Exactly. You tell me. Okay. So, hey, it's time.
Okay, girl. Hey.
Sometimes I casually talk like that. That's totally cash. You're such a bitch right now.
I'm ready to play which one. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's time to adopt a pet for school.
Ooh.
A toad or a rat? Which one?
Per our earlier conversation, I'm going to go with a rat because I think it's more useful.
For sure.
But I'm not really psyched about my life right now.
It's time to sign up for classes. Do you take a time turner like a crazy person and take max classes, or just be 13 and take a normal amount of classes with time to still smoke weed behind the bushes? Which one?
You know, this is interesting because I talked all that shade about giving Hermione the time turner. Me, as a 13-year-old as I was, I would have wanted that time turner because I was very similar to Hermione in that way. But today, if I had the option, like if I went back to grad school, I would choose the second option because I think I've grown as a person.
Oh, yeah.
And I've realized that quality is more important than quantity.
And you know, I mentioned previously that one of my problems is like, why is Hermione still sort of a B character? And you know what it is? It's because her commitment to her education.
I think that's absolutely true.
It totally is.
I mean, she's essentially like, if the other ones are working like 15-hour-a-week jobs, let's say, she's like working, she has a career. Yeah. She's like a 55-hour-a-week kind of business lady.
Yeah, easily.
You know?
Yeah. All her spare time in the library.
Exactly.
You are becoming a seer. What is your preferred method of divination? A crystal ball or tea leaves?
Ooh. If I could do a bunch of acid, the crystal ball, but I think more normally the tea leaves.
Don't you think that seems like kind of a chill way to live your life? Like reading tea leaves for a living or something?
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
Also, we failed to mention in our discussion, and I would just like to bring up again, that Professor Trelawney had her second ever real prophecy during this book, in which she predicted the Dark Lord's servant returning to him and bringing him back to full power, which is a huge moment for us.
Kind of scary.
Us as knowing Trelawney is a fraud, because then we find out later that she did the first prophecy centered around her. It was also really scary. But isn't that interesting that she lives her life pretending to be a seer when in reality she is a seer and just can't accept that she doesn't have the inner eye available to her at all times?
It's really fascinating that her whole career is built on that first prophecy. Really, you know what I mean? Like,
and Dumbledore almost employs her to keep her close. Just in cases. Yeah. So I think she has a sad life. I think she's so too. Sad. Like in the first two books, she was never even at the table. They never talked about her. She was like a brand new
she was being a recluse up in the attic drinking cooking sherry. Been there.
Okay. 2 teaching positions have opened up at Hogwarts. Which one do you apply for? Muggle studies or arithmancy?
Muggle studies, definitely. When you say arithmancy, I see numbers that move because they're magic, and I'm even more horrified.
That's
than
fair.
Yeah.
I should have said like Muggle studies or like ancient ruins.
Ooh.
Which one?
Ancient runes.
Interesting.
I like ancient stuff.
Yeah. Your best friends.
Which is why I'm friends with you.
Aww.
You're old. Sorry, go ahead.
But you said we're best friends.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to say you're ancient.
You love me.
No.
Okay. Your best friends are going to Hogsmeade. You can't go. Womp, womp, womp. Do you chill or risk your life and walk through a long and mysterious dark tunnel that you have no certainty where it leads to for over an hour? Which one?
Well, if I'm 13, I might do the stupid thing. These
Really?
days, yeah, I did a
By
lot
yourself.
I'm not saying I would for sure. I'm just saying,
But probably.
As a 13-year-old, it's something I would have considered because I really wanted to go to blank, and I would do whatever I had to do to get there. Mm-hmm. These days, hell no, girl. I would go up and take a nap naked because everybody's in Hogsmeade. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I would get the best seat by the couch, and I'd have me a good old time.
You know, I do wonder about their privacy and their rooms with their 4-poster beds. They do talk about they have, like, curtains that they can draw. But, like, are they magic curtains? Can they be, like, silent? Like, because, girl, that's where they gotta masturbate, and that's where, like... That's just where they need their privacy. So, like, hopefully they're magic curtains. Like, wouldn't you think, to give them extra privacy?
I could see that. Like, you close them and then you can't see or hear anything that's inside. I bet so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she doesn't, of course, that's not, we were talking about that earlier, there's no sex, really. So, they don't talk about that. But I'll tell you that I don't care how much magic and house elfing you got going on, 5 teenage boys living in a dormitory room together, that room is littered with semen-crusted socks.
Easily.
Mm-hmm. And it just smells like
And those
BO
poor house
and
elves have to wash all those semen
Girl,
socks.
spew indeed. Spew indeed. Yes.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a secret history of spew. Okay, your friend's cat keeps trying to kill your rat. Do you work it out with them, or do you be totally furious and shut them out and not solve the problem? Which one?
Ron is so dumb. He makes the wrong step at like every change.
That's kind of his thing.
It is kind of what he does. I mean, I would work it out with him. For sure.
Yeah, we can always fix it.
Yeah, because we don't need to manufacture drama in our own lives like JK does for the books.
Girl, and you know what? They don't either. They got problems. They got Buckbeak getting executed.
Truth to that,
They got godfathers who kill their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no need. Mm-mm. Okay. You get to go on a wine tasting tour of France. Who do you take? Remus Lupin or Sirius Black?
Does Sirius Black have his jacked up prison teeth? Or is he looking like a real person? Because I can't be taking all.
In between.
Oh, somewhere in between? I'll take Lupin then.
Really? You can take a werewolf to wine country?
Oh, I didn't think about that. Well, can't we just go when there's not a full moon?
Do you want to take a stinky, cynical human? Or a werewolf.
A werewolf. Yeah. I mean, I really like Sirius, but I don't fancy the idea of traveling with him.
Also, don't you think Remus would be so pleasant in wine country?
I think, and he'd be really knowledgeable. Yeah. He would make me look really fancy.
I kind of want to go on like every vacation with him.
Yeah, no, you'd love him. Bali.
Bali. Okay, it's time to hit the beach again. What party people are you going to invite? Sybil Trelawney?
You tickled yourself. She's
not a party people. Though she is drunk a whole lot. Okay. Sybil Trelawney or Rubius Hagrid. Both lushes in their own right. To the beach. So many factors.
You know where I'm going with this? Yeah, I don't know if this is something you would have thought of, but I think that Rubius Hagrid's a fine-looking man. I'm not especially looking forward to seeing him in a bathing suit.
His moleskin trunks he would wear. Or hopefully his Brazilian bikini.
Oh my god. Yeah, I won't be able to tell where his moleskin trunks start and the fur on his back ends. Yeah, like I don't know if I'm into that life. Hairy. And I think Sybil Trelawney would probably wear a really fierce one piece with weird cutouts.
Oh, and she would definitely have a hat.
Yep, and I just feel like she's more at a beach. I would be into her because we'd get drunk together, we complain about the sand, we'd go into like our mid-shin, and you know, a little further. Yeah, maybe a little further if we get drunk. But yeah, I think Sybil.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's all the witch ones I have.
Well, I always love witch ones. I hope that you like this new game I made just as much, but it doesn't really have the lifespan that witch one has. So it's called Very Bad Omens.
Ominous.
It is, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you an omen. Something that is like connected to bad luck via superstition. And I want you to tell me if that is a true superstition or a false superstition. Okay? And this was all inspired, of course, by the Grimm and the whole, like, the ominous, like, superstition of, by the way, large black dogs like that really are considered to be unlucky or a harbinger of death in English, like, lore. So, yeah. Like the Hound of Baskervilles, that Sherlock Hound of Baskervilles or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Okay. In medieval Europe, Fridays and the number 13 were both considered unlucky, even separately. They were both separately unlucky. But in Spanish, that is from Spain, and Greek culture, it's Tuesday the 13th that is unlucky. True or false?
False.
That is true, actually.
What? Tuesday the 13th?
Yep, Tuesday the 13th. And if there's going to be a Tuesday the 13th in a month, the month will start with the Tuesday. And if a month starts with a Tuesday, you should not travel on that month, according to this website, because it is bad luck.
What month is that?
Well, it varies during the calendar year.
But the one that's coming up?
No, I'm just saying, like, if a month starts with a Tuesday, it's going to have a Tuesday the 13th.
I have to consult my calendar.
Okay. If you say Hamlet in a theater, your premiere will be doomed. True or false?
True.
That's false.
Oh,
it's not
it's
Hamlet.
a Scottish play.
Yes,
Just
yes.
kidding.
I did the exact same thing. Yeah, Mackers for some reason.
Yeah.
And if you're a real
also,
theater
when neither
loser
of us
like
are
us,
saying the word.
Yeah, which is dumb because we're not even in a theater. But this is what theater people do. You just stop saying it altogether. The Scottish play, Mackers.
Sorry, that was an impulse answer. Of course, I know it's a Scottish play.
You're blushing all over. Oh,
I'm
no,
really
wait. You just really have those red tones in your skin.
It's rosacea.
Is it really?
No.
Oh.
Do I look red?
No, but I thought maybe you secretly had rosacea.
No.
Like how I secretly have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's really
You
sad.
do.
Okay. True or false? Large black dogs are considered bad luck because of a notably evil black dog that attacks Odysseus outside of his home in the Odyssey.
Oh.
True or false?
False.
That is false, because the dog in the Odyssey is called Argos, and he's like super faithful. And when Odysseus comes home, Argos is lying in a dung heap outside the back door, and he's so old and weak, because it's been like 20 years, he can't even really raise his head, but he looks at his master, and then he dies complete, because he got to see his master come home. It's really sad. I'm not even a dog person, that makes me sad. Okay, true or false? Hanging a horseshoe above your door with the ends pointing down is bad luck because your luck will just fall right out.
True.
That is true. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that specifically, but I know there's a lot of stuff with like horseshoes that like, I don't fucking understand.
Yeah, I read something about why. It was like, according to like a folktale, like, the devil stopped at a farrier who does horseshoes, and he was like, can you put a new horseshoe on my horse? And the farrier was like, yeah, I'll do it, but you can't ever come back to any place with horseshoes or some shit like that.
That seems fair.
Yeah, it seems like that really happened, huh? Okay. Spilling salt is considered bad luck in Western culture because Judas spilled the salt at the Last Supper, according to Da Vinci's painting.
True?
That is true. Or because the salt is just expensive, and so that's why you wouldn't want to spill it. Or it used to be.
And then why do you have to throw it over your shoulder?
That's really cool. So, now we do it when we spill salt, but it used to just be a superstition where you're literally throwing salt into the devil's eye. So he'll get
he's
the
just
fuck
looking
away
over?
from you. Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
So you'd be like, get back, devil! And then the devil always sits on the left shoulder, too.
Okay. So you throw the salt over your left shoulder. Okay. Good
Absolutely.
information.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is.
Okay, true or false? Opening an umbrella indoors is bad luck because umbrellas are connected to witches, and opening inside pledges your soul to the devil.
Please say yes.
I wish. No, that's it has more to do with like you're supposed to have house spirits, like guardian spirits that protect your home. And of course, an umbrella is supposed to protect you from storms. So when you go into the house and open up your umbrella, according to stuff I read, it's like telling the house spirits like, oh, I need extra protection. You're not protecting me enough. And that's why they get you.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell my kids that. I'm going to go with that thing where you pledge your soul to the devil.
Yep.
So that if they do, and when they do inevitably open that umbrella, they're going to feel like they're going to go to hell forever.
That's good.
Like they should.
Well, we all are going to go to hell. Mm-hmm. And by we, I mean us too, definitely.
Yeah, yes, I will be picking you up.
You because you're evil and hateful. Me just because I'm a beautiful angel who happens to be gay. It's not fair. We're going to look
really good with a tan, though. So.
Well, that's true. Hey, queen.
Holla.
I hope all this fat bubbles off my midsection.
It'll just fall right off.
Ooh.
Along with your skin.
Oh, damn. Okay, last one, babe. True or false? In France, it is considered bad luck to step in dog poop, but only if you step into dog poop with your right foot.
True.
That is true.
Why? That's so weird.
Well, according to the site, because Paris, France in general, but especially Paris, is kind of notorious for having really dirty sidewalks because culturally, people don't clean up after their dog as much.
Ooh, that wouldn't fly in Austin, Texas.
No, queen. Might be throwing dog shit at the back of people's heads. Yeah, like a monkey. But in France, of course, so the dogs poop everywhere, so you're gonna step in dog shit. So it's kind of like them being like, well, if you step in it with your left foot, that's good luck. But not with your right foot, that's bad luck. So it's like a winking nod to the fact that there's dog shit everywhere.
Well, why don't they just ask people to pick their dog shit up?
Because they're French. You know the French.
Ugh. Whatever.
Yeah. They like bad smells. They think it's part of the,
yeah, that's true.
Ambiance.
All right.
That's why you do well in France. I'm glad you liked it. Sorry you gave me a compliment, but I thought of an insult. At the same time.
Rude. I did like that game, though. That was
good.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any stray observations? Anything you noticed that we missed that you wanted to bring up?
I mean, there's so much and so little. True or false? Are you afraid of werewolves? Wait, that wasn't a good true or false. Do you think werewolves are scary as a last, final thought of mine?
Yeah.
You're afraid.
Totally.
See, I just don't. Mummies and werewolves do not do it. I've never been afraid of them.
Well, I guess it depends on the kind of mummy. Mummies don't really scare me because there's so many iterations, and if they're the dumb, slow one, just drop kick them.
Sure.
Or unravel them. But werewolves, in every iteration, pretty much if you get bit, you become a werewolf. Mm-hmm. And I have a fear of being a werewolf because that is not a sexy supernatural being to be. Mm-mm. It's not sexy at all. Mm-mm. And also, I really love the moon and I don't want to live in fear of it. We were just saying that
totally makes sense.
I sync up my cycles with the moon and chart my lunar calendar based on my menstrual cycle and girl, I can't add a layer of fear into my menstrual cycle tracking. That's just one extra thing I don't need to be scared of.
Oh, that's really legit, Morgie.
And
yeah. I just don't give a shit about werewolves. I mean, I care about and like vampires, though I don't say that often because they've been so ruined in popular culture recently.
They're very cool, though.
What's that?
Vampires are really cool.
They are cool, which is why I don't want to talk about them because I'm a contrarian. And if every 14-year-old in America likes vampires, then no, I'm not going to say anything about liking them. But werewolves, mummies, I've never connected them. I don't think they're scary. I'm not interested in them.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That's totally legit. Well, you guys can tune in to our next episode where we talk about a lot more great stuff, possibly fears, possibly loves, definitely some shade.
And bullshit. There's going to be tons of bullshit. You know why? Because Morgie's here.
God damn it. Well, that's inevitable, and
you sound so important right now.
And in the meantime, you guys can follow us on our website. We are at bnbcast.wordpress.com. We have blog posts going up there pretty much weekly.
Mm-hmm. Every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And then every now and then a couple of little extra stuff.
Yes.
You can find us on Instagram at bnbcast, where we post really funny memes and really pertinent information. And we're also sharing that stuff on Facebook. You can search us out, bnbcast. We are there, Beauty and the Bitch. Or if you want to shoot us an email, corrections, omissions, content for future episodes, things you want to talk about, critical things, whatever, we're down for it.
Or compliments.
Yeah,
we love
preferably scratch all that shit I said. Just
send pure compliments. Compliments in paragraph form, mind you.
Yes, please. Or haikus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you can email us at beautyandthebee@gmail.com.
And if you would like to watch Morgan while she works out, she likes to work out at the park.
I do like to work out at the park, actually.
And that park's address is
No. But I am the attractive, extremely fit one if you're there. That's me.
Yep, and I'm the one who's nowhere near working out anywhere, so you won't see me.
You're like under the tree eating an apple with like 12 fans. Yeah. So check us out at the park. You know, the one.
I thought you were going to cut me off before I got to the park.
I'm sorry.
And you let me down.
You know, sometimes I like to see just how far you're willing to go.
I'm all 8 inches, girl. All 8 inches.
All right. Well, we love you, baby.
Oh my God, I love you too, Morgan.
No, not you.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Listeners.
Morgan loves me. I'm her favorite.
Every time it just turns it back on me. I don't know how to win.
It's because I'm not a real person. I'm just a mirror of you.
Doesn't sound like anything to me.
Oh, shit. Bye, baby.
Bye.